That's the view when you turn the that's the view when you turn the other way. Now we don't have this in here to show you how great our life is or anything. I put this here because you might hear a lot of birds. I don't hear them anymore. But just think of it as the sound of somebody's dream. By the way, trivia for you. The reason people love the sound of birds is when birds are making noise, there are no predators around. They don't make noise when there's predators. So, I know about you, but this thing that's happened on the internet for the past 4 or 5 years, these master classes, and it's on and on and on about how great they are and how many people they've helped, and you don't know if any of it's true. And then about 30 minutes in, you get a little bit of nonsense, a little bit of content, and then another hour of selling you on why you should spend $3,000. So let me say it again. There's nothing for sale before, during, or after. Relax, enjoy something, learn something here today. Lori's going to bring you through the agenda.
Agenda, yes, I am. So
All
we're
right.
we are going to spend just 10 seconds on each of our credentials, and because it's all listed in your worksheet, like Mark said, go grab that if you don't have it. And then we're going to talk about why smart people struggle, okay? And then go from there. So go ahead.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the drawing off. Someone has decided to draw,
Oh, I
but
got
we're
you.
going
I
to
got
forgive
you.
them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to talk about why smart people stay stuck, just hidden way intelligence becomes a liability, okay? And then we are going to go ahead from there, breaking free, giving you a few specific steps today that is going to help you move forward because I know everybody on here is very smart, okay?
Yep. Yep. So we're going to spend 10 seconds each on each other's credentials. I met Lori several years ago at a network marketing company, and through a friend of ours. All the credentials are in there, and they're all verifiable, but certified in many different things. Scientist, successful corporate career, best-selling author on the first book that she wrote. And the reality is of our company here, we've been in business 15 years. She's really the soul of it, and it's turned out to be quite remarkable, both in catering and network marketing, writing. I mean, she just does it all.
Thank you, Mark. And Mark, well, multiple bestsellers published in national newspapers, folks. Amazing. The guy is crazy and crazy successful. You can read about it there. And the business stuff, again, it's all in your worksheet. But all these wonderful credentials Mark's just listed for me and that you see here on him, incredible stuff. But should you care about that? Not really. What you really should care about um, is about how basically blocks create frustration for people. And we'll talk about breakthroughs and what we can do about that going forward. So we've been doing this a long time, actually, since 1995. And, we come across and work closely with so many smart people. I mean, really kind people. They're confident, they are focused and determined. And let's face it, highly intelligent people, right? And it's heartbreaking to see how frustrated so many of them are. We see this time and time again. They're constantly reading to improve themselves. They attend workshops and seminars. They know success principles. And they spend so much time strategizing and planning over and over because basically they know what to do. Okay. But, while they get all wrapped up in all of that and they get a little bit of movement or momentum going occasionally, after a week or two, they're back to making to-do lists and studying how to do it and planning and strategizing again, studying how other people do it. So the reason we get real results for people here is that we create a safe environment for sharing. If you were at one of the first two workshops we did over the past month or so, you understand that because we asked people to participate and they did. Okay, they felt safe here, they felt not confronted, and that was the big piece. And so, and I hope that's why you're here as well. They wanted to improve. I'm sure you do as well. So let's play a little bit and help each other out today, okay? I want to ask you a question. How many of you know what you should be doing, okay, but you're not consistently doing it? Can I see a raise of hands or anybody want to raise hands? I mean, know what to do to move forward? Okay. A lot of you are raising or waving even. That's
Yeah.
like when we were in class. Me, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've been there as well. I totally understand that.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for participating. It's so important. Lori went over it, but I'm going to go over it again because it's that important. Players get paid and spectators pay to watch players play. This is going to be safe here. Okay. It's safe. That's the main thing to remember. And we want you to feel that because what we're really about here and the reason that we've been able to really help people so much is it's really pretty simple. Um, Community. So be part of the community, okay? So the intelligence trap, smart people, you're Olympic gold medalists in overthinking, rationalizing interaction. You got to wait for the perfect time. And just remember that perfectionism, right, is really just a fancy name for procrastination. That was a big breakthrough for me. Examples in your turn, you got to get one more certification, got to read this one more book, got to study this course. So you have a worksheet question on there. What important decision have you delayed the longest? What important decision have you delayed the longest? So I'll give you a couple of seconds and we'll open this up and see if people want to share. Those that share get better. Those that don't, judge other people. It's really pretty simple. John.
Yes, the decision that I've have run away from for many years is actually deciding to work with my brother. And he has a tax preparation business and a tax resolution business, and I'm finally getting started.
Yeah,
Mark, I completed my basic tax course this morning, which is a big thing for me.
that's a big thing. So you're doing the things that would create the partnership rather than daydreaming about the partnership, not doing
Yes,
anything and feeling lousy.
yes.
Anybody else? A fantastic, John. Anybody else want to improve?
Making the phone calls regularly.
Who's this?
Consuelo.
Oh, hey, Consuelo. How you doing?
I'm doing
Yeah,
well.
yeah, because you're great on the phone. You're just not consistent, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's the big. So the big question is about consistency. Anybody else want to help other people by showing a little vulnerability here? It's safe. We're not going to
I,
confront anybody, Debbie.
Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll go. Hey,
Nice.
hi, this is Tuesday. I suck at following up. I'm really bad. I mean, I do all the networking, I hand out the card, I make the connection, and then I get home and zip, not a darn thing. I just like it's not freezing, but I just don't move past that when I know that I should. I know that, that's the big thing to do, but and that's where I lay off. I'm not consistent in my follow-up or in my business. I keep lying to myself.
Right. So for you, the big question is what important decision have you delayed the longest? And that is asking yourself the question, why don't I follow up and through? So I think that's fantastic. And I want to tell you something that I've been in direct sales and home-based businesses since from 1971 to 2010. Okay. And I got to tell you, boy, that's a common thing. All the awards I won and all the national and actually even international. Dave and I got flown to Thailand, first class to talk to 30 millionaires for for 1 hour for a week, and they put us up in a villa. And you know what? They all had the same problem Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Okay. Okay. And so the big question is, why don't I follow through? I know what I should do. I'm just not doing it. That's fantastic. Anybody else want to chime in here? Okay. If you change your mind and want to jump in, that's great. Remember,
I
players get
want to
paid.
say I don't commit to my daily habits, that the good habits that I know are going to replace the bad ones.
Right.
It's it's another consistency thing. I know if I did those habits consistently every single day and didn't miss it because somebody texted me and said something's wrong here, something's wrong there, and I put work in front of myself, that I wish that I am changing.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Thanks for saying that,
Yeah.
Dave. Here's the thing, and we'll just take Tuesday, for example, and Davene, right? If you noticed, they started to beat themselves up a little bit.
Yep.
If you look at the worksheet, what's the question? So the question Davene would say is, why aren't I consistent with my habits? And Tuesday would say, why don't I follow through? Because one of the things that keeps smart people stuck is they beat the crap out of themselves. They beat the crap out of themselves. And the next thing, let me go distract myself with some stupid videos on YouTube or whatever to make me laugh. Okay, so this is great. Thank you so much, everybody. This is what we
Get
do
out of
here.
my head, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Exactly.
so let me tell you, you weren't born that way. Let's talk about Tuesday. Let's talk about Debbie. Let's talk about all the people that are here. Whoops, let's go back here. Okay, so let me see if I can get this thing on here because I like this. Sometimes it shows up, breakout, hide name, show video panel. Okay, so in 1965, NASA hired Dr. Land, a brilliant, brilliant man, by all accounts, to find creative geniuses to expand the program. And he couldn't find very many. And he kept testing younger and younger and younger, and he got down to 5 years old, John. And with 5-year olds, 98% of 5-year-olds test out as creative geniuses. He followed those people for 25 years. By 30, only 2%. How did that happen? Well, B.F. Skinner opened that up. By the way, if you don't know Skinner, he deserves all the accolades or more than Jung and Freud. Brilliant man in behavioral psychology, actually invented the field. And it became from the schooling, the conditioning. When we went to school, we were taught to comply and punished for growing personally, our individuality. We were rewarded to follow, not think. And most of all, and this is a real killer right here, we were taught to compete rather than to create and collaborate, which so our natural nature is to grow personally, to think and create and collaborate. And we were trained just the opposite. And something even bigger got sequestered, right? This is what happens. The create and compete thing that they shoved down our throat, compete, Tuesday got an A, I got a C, Tuesday smarter than me, you feel bad about yourself, blah, blah, blah. Young children experiment and they reach out for everything, the keys, your necklace, whatever. They fail constantly, but they have zero self-consciousness. Adults, we got trained in those schools to be concerned with being right, looking good, in other words, fitting in. And most of you say, oh, I don't really care about fitting in. Yeah, you do. Look around at the people you hang around with and how you live and everything else. And avoiding mistakes, that's why smart people stay stuck. They think they should be smart enough to not make any mistakes. Here's the thing, you were not born that way. You were born as a creative genius, okay? And the ancients have been pitching this for 5,000 years. I'm not going to get into it today, but I can prove it to you. It's right in that book right there. Shameless book plug. But the reality is you weren't born that way. You were born to grow, to think for yourself, to create, collaborate, and not be self-conscious at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Mark's talked about the way you were trained, the way I was trained, and I want to tie it together with your subconscious mind. By the way, we fondly call that subby here, okay? Because you'll hear me say that. In school, you were not trained to succeed, folks. You were trained to avoid being wrong, okay? That's what the focus was on. Like Mark just said, trained to compete, not create and collaborate with other people. So now when you add to that subby's primary objective in each and every one of us is self-preservation. That's how we are born, is to self-preserve, to protect, okay, not innovate, to preserve, not transform, and to repeat behaviors, not take risks, okay? That's what we are conditioned for and born into. So the bottom line is subby doesn't ask, when you think of a new endeavor, a new idea, it doesn't ask, will this make me successful? That mind instead says, have we survived this? Is this okay? Okay. That's what it's asking. So unconsciously, smart people, what are they doing? They're waiting for certainty. They want that guarantee. Okay. I know for me, that was the case. You know, uh, I wanted to have confidence in something. Maybe once I gather that, I'll go ahead and I'll do the thing. Okay. I'll take a shot at something. or and confidence first. It doesn't work that, by the way. It works that's backwards. Or for me, it's never quite clear enough for me to take the step forward. As soon as I get all that figured out and I have clarity, then I'll take action. Those are the things we do.
Right. So let's talk about eliminating uncertainty. Most people want uncertainty eliminated first, and this is in your subconscious mind. Anything different Tuesday is going to feel uncertain. And we've been trained, right? Because we're trained ponies. We've been trained to replace uncertainty with awfulness. That's what the subconscious is going to do. So even self-sabotaging behaviors that you want to improve, like John's procrastinating for a couple of years of taking the tax course, is replaced with awfulness. What if I fail the course? Then it'll never happen. So it's easier to daydream about it rather than just do it. We want uncertainty. Always remember the deer in the river. Embrace this metaphor. What's the deer in the river? So this deer goes down to the river to cross, and it's running. It's a little brisk. The current's a little brisk, and he says, "I'm going to wait until you know the river calms down a little bit. I want to be certain I'm going to get across to the other side." And he waits a couple hours, then he waits a day, then he waits another day, and then he dies on the riverbank of thirst, dies right by the water. What's the metaphor? That's your dreams. The river is never going to stop running. What creates certainty is certainty in yourself that no matter how it works out, Consuelo, you're not going to die, you're going to be okay. But the subconscious sees anything different as a threat to survival, because even the good, bad, and ugly parts of us, it sees the whole as greater than the sum of the parts, and it's going to say, nope, this is why we're still alive. Any change is a threat to that. And smart people don't know that the difference, I didn't, between uncertainty and danger, between different and danger, different and danger. Different is not danger, but that's not how we were trained. See, life has three constants and one certainty: pain, work, and uncertainty. Now, number one, we're all going to die. And what you need to do to celebrate your life is realize this is not another day. This is one less day for you, Consuelo, on the planet. This is one less day for you, John. Debbie, this is one less day, not one more day, one less day. You don't mess up 3 or 4 days, right, with sheep therapy and go to your whatever you want to call it in the sky or whatever, higher power source of all good, Buddha, Jesus, it doesn't really matter, and say, I kind of messed up those 3 days. Can you add 3 on the end? It doesn't work that way, John. Okay. So if you think about this as one less day, how can I make the most out of it? Pain. You're going to experience some pain from failure. Little kids try to walk, they fall down, they get up, they fall down, they get up, they fall down. They don't have any self-consciousness about it. And that's who you were intended to be. It's all an experiment. It's all a game. It's not going to kill you. Now, if you do the work, Debbie, when you make a mistake, then you gain wisdom where? In uncertainty. You don't gain wisdom in what you already know. You gain it in uncertainty. So you need to embrace this beautiful field of uncertainty. And again, we're not born that way. Curiosity ruled. No fear, no self-consciousness. What's beautiful about this, if Debbie makes a couple of mistakes, she learns because she did the work, instead of like Davene and Tuesday were listing why they're not doing well, saying, no, what's the question I should ask? What did I learn from this? Because then it becomes wisdom that you can share with other people. So Lori and I were both overthinkers, mind in the momentum of mediocrity, knowing what to do, but just not doing it. Before we get to the shift and embracing uncertainty, can we agree that one or two things about you is true? One, you have a big purpose and you know the main thing you should be doing every single day. Or two, you do not know your main purpose and you know that it's the thing that you need. Everybody knows without purpose we'll distract ourselves. That's what people do. In other words, finding the thing or doing the thing matters. So let's just do this. Does everybody agree that they fall into one of those two categories? Anybody want to talk about it? It's okay if you don't. Yes, John.
You're muted,
You're
John.
muted, John.
I definitely fall in the first category, um, because I've been running away from my greatness for many years.
Yeah.
And so it's
Thank you
about
for saying
time.
that.
Uh, my gosh, it's about time. And so let's get
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, fantastic. And you are doing it now, which is why, this is one of the benefits of working in a mastermind, right? We're working here. So let's talk about a phrase John said, running away from his greatness. Can you imagine discovering that at this age? Isn't that wonderful? I'm
Yeah,
so
it is.
proud of you, John. Listen, the biggest lie perpetrated on mankind in all of history is nobody's perfect. That is completely false. Only one is perfect. Completely false. As a matter of fact, the one that we're all compared to said, "You'll do greater things than I." Wallace Waddle said, "There are no common people. There is greatness in everybody." Now, if you measure it by the world's idea of greatness, yeah, nobody can ever live up to that, right? Nobody can be Tom Brady at everything. That's just not the way that it is. But there is greatness in everybody. There's a creative genius in everybody. And I think it's so important for you to realize what John said. He's recognizing his greatness and he's taking steps towards that rather than beating himself up. Christopher O'Hare, what's up, dog?
To see you.
Hello. Yeah, I'm in the first one. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I kind of know how to do it. I can't get started. Every time I go to get started, I feel overwhelmed,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So
that's what blocks me.
so let's go back to what Tuesday shared so nicely with us and talk about um, what's the question you should be asking rather than listing what you're not doing.
I'm not sure because I just get
Fantastic.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, fantastic. The question is, why do I feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
I'm
I got to
saying,
find out.
right, that's what you got to think about because if you're like most people, that's what Lori was talking about, the way we were trained in school. And we saw Tuesday do it, we saw Davene do it. Christopher will start listing all the things he's doing wrong. And boy, that's the school system teaching us to compete rather than create. That question helps you learn to create, if that makes sense.
I
Okay.
also think I'm afraid of success.
That's really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Okay.
I'm afraid of it. Like, what if I actually succeed at what I'm doing? What am I going to
No,
do?
that's the illusion that's out there all over the internet. That's not what people are afraid of when they succeed. What they're afraid of is they'll be leaving some relationships and forgetting that they'll be developing some new ones. Okay.
Hmm.
It's just the way
Okay.
that it is. That some people are not going to go with you. That doesn't mean they're not going to join you in your business or anything. It just means they're going to feel however they're going to feel about it. But new worlds open up. So we're not afraid of success. What we're afraid of is losing what we have. Okay, in terms of what makes us feel comfortable. We're back to the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
You've got to
So,
step
Mark,
into. Say it again.
I was playing small. Is that one or two?
Yeah, yeah. You're afraid of you
Thought
in
they
terms.
loved me if I wasn't better than them.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that the schools taught us to compete rather than create.
That's right.
You create your own reality. That's the gift we were given. You see, we're
Well,
the
it's
only.
also a truth in the world. When I started telling everybody my big dream, I got ridiculed
Yeah.
and laughed at and criticized.
Yep.
So that's what people are taught to do. And that as a blue, that terrified me. And I
Yep.
ran back in my hole until I taught my subconscious mind that I can have it.
Can have it.
So true.
This is, and Davine just pointed out something even bigger, and that is seeking approval of people that are pulling you down.
Yep.
It's a funny thing because we're tribal and we want to belong. We have to understand moving into uncertainty and moving towards our greatness will attract different types of people in our life. And to be curious about that rather than what the subconscious wants to feel danger, you need to feel excitement and curiosity. Curiosity, number one in the subconscious is survival. Number two is curiosity. And questions help the Debbies and the Johns and the Tracys get curious about what can happen rather than making this list of what I'm not doing, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does.
And it does all start with awareness. We all have our own style of not doing the thing, right? How it looks on us and what stops us. But so since we can all agree, and most people here have been sharing that they're in the first choice, that you know your big purpose, okay? You know the thing you just need to do to achieve it. And we're just going to enjoy this essay that I'm going to read you really quick. It's really short, but enjoy it and think about it and find the truth in it, okay? We're just going to call it the thing, all right? That one thing that you know it is that you need to do, the traction point, we call it. So preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list for the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing is not doing the thing. I've done that. Oh, messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing either. Oh, and how about writing an incredible social media post about how you're going to do the thing? That's not doing the thing. Okay. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing is not doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles that are in the way of doing the thing is not doing the thing. Here's one I was pretty good at. Fantasizing about all the adoration you'll receive once you do the thing is not doing the thing. Visualizing it, okay. Reading about how to do the thing is not doing the thing. And reading about how other people did the thing isn't doing the thing, right? Reading this essay isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing, right?
And that's by a blogger by the name of Strange Loop. That's
Love
not
it.
his real name. So what about the shift, Lori?
The shift. Okay, so the greatest obstacle of intelligence, you guys, is hesitation. We've been talking about it here. And then we're back to the essay and planning and posting instead of actually doing the thing. Okay, the action is where it's at. Our movement, it's our movement, not planning, that creates the clarity that I mentioned before and that Mark has talked about. Okay, confidence follows action. Courage follows action. And obviously, momentum follows action. So, how do we get you into action? There's some specific steps, Mark.
Yeah. Number one is you need to withdraw from the noise and the Pied Pipers of prosperity out there online. Stop looking for solutions, okay, that involve dopamine hits, okay? And you know how they work. It's going to be comfortable, it's going to be convenient, and it's going to be instant. Change is not comfortable, it's not convenient, and it's not instant in the subconscious mind. Some of you, like me, Consuelo, John, right? We've been on the planet. We're all over 25 years old, the three of us. And the reality is some of these mental habits we have that we've been conditioned to operate that way, they've been there 10, 20, or 30 years. They're not going to change because you go to a class on, I will teach you how to get into the right vibration. Or how about this one? I know the secret of manifestation. It's such a bunch of bullshit. Let me tell you something about manifestation. You've been manifesting perfectly since you've been 12, 13, 14 years old, depending on what kind of household you grew up in, meaning how fast your parents let you make decisions on your own. You manifest what your subconscious mind believes, period. And you have an automated manifesting mechanism. You need to learn how to abracadabra. Abracadabra is not a word about magic or for magicians. Abracadabra is from 2450 BC, and the ancients gave us the instructions, and now neuroscience is trying to say they discovered it, even though it's been around 6,000 years. Abra, it's two words. Abra, I create, cadabra as I speak, which is why I stopped a couple of people while they started telling me what they're not doing and how bad they are for doing it. They're telling their subconscious, keep doing this, keep doing this, keep doing this. Does that make sense? You're training your brain, this Aladdin's lamp, this creative genius that's in you. You're training your brain with your thoughts and your words. So you need to change those, okay? This whole self-help industry is a $51 billion industry with zero quantifiable results. They run on dopamine hits. Oh, I'll show you how to manifest. I'm going to tell you a secret. It's all nonsense. You are an automated, you are an Olympic gold medalist manifester. You've been manifesting what? The thoughts that you really believe, not what you say you believe, not what you want to believe, not what you tell other people you believe. You want to know what you really believe, Christopher? Take a look at your life. It's a printout of the world within. The world within creates the world without. Who said that? Well, there's a little carpenter from Galilee that said, according to your faith, be it unto you. Unfortunately, religions have kind of commandeered the word faith. It doesn't have anything to do with the spiritual life. Faith means what you believe. That's it. That's all it means. And so when he said, according to your faith, be it unto you, is really interesting. There was a book written called Think and Grow Rich, and they reduced it was originally an encyclopedia that they reduced to Think and Grow Rich so people could get an abridged version of it. And then they worked, about 8 of them worked at a mastermind for a year, and they came up with 12 words that define the human experience. And that was, human thoughts have a tendency to transform themselves into the physical equivalent. And they became so proud of themselves. And then one day, W. Clement Stone walked in, who trained me personally in 71, built the largest, most successful sales force in history. And he said, guys, we've been had. A little guy 2,000 years ago said, according to your faith, be it unto you, which is really the same thing as human thoughts have a tendency to transform themselves into their physical equivalent. So it's always been there, okay? 2, you got to write 3 gratitudes a day, always different. These are mine from the last 3 weeks, okay? Me and John are involved in a little gratitude. You need a mastermind, and we're in imagination this week again, right? So 3 gratitudes a day, always different. It puts you in the day. You see, after you use up the big ones, that I was born and my children, and I got to go to Paris or whatever. After you use up the big ones, by not repeating them, you start focusing more and more and more in the day, and that's where you need to be. This is why smart people struggle. Why they stay stuck. They are not in the day. And we heard that already in a couple of the shares. It started talking about negatively about how they've behaved in the past. They're not in the day. You begin to experience abundance as you seek more and more things to be grateful for. Awareness plus action, not planning and chanting, okay? This builds an indomitable abundance mindset, okay? You don't get an abundance mindset by saying, I'm going to think abundance. It doesn't work. It's different to the subconscious. It's just a thought that's in the conscious mind. That's not running the show. This builds an indomitable idea of abundance, and like attracts like. The secret, there aren't any secrets. They've been around 6,000-7,000 years in these ancient texts, way before the Bible. The secret of affluence is giving, not getting. The word affluence actually comes from the Latin affluere, which means to flow to. How do you get things to flow to you? You start giving, Christopher. Start giving other people encouragement about making calls, and you'll start making calls. 3, make and keep promises, little promises. 1 promise today. Just promise anything. You're going to brush the dog. You're going to take the trash out. You're going to clean off the passenger side of your car. Just some tiny thing that takes almost no time. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between owning a house in Florida or Kauai or whatever, and taking out the trash. So when you make a promise, you say out loud, I promise to brush the dog. Then when you brush the dog, you say, I kept my promise, and you celebrate it because it will download faster if you emotionalize it. If you don't emotionalize it, nothing's going to happen. Subby doesn't know side. So when you celebrate this thing, it's not about the brushing of the dog or taking out the trash. What you're celebrating is that you made a promise, you thought of something, you thought it, you said it, you promised, you did it, and you celebrated it. It downloads faster that you always keep your promises. So 2 weeks from now, Christopher can say, I promise I'm going to make 20 dials today. You'll make them because you've trained your subconscious mind to what? Keep the promises that you make. Number 4, take the What's Holding Me Back quiz. We all run on one of 4 patterns. Smart people all run on one of 4 patterns that blocks them manifesting their dream. That's at markjquiz.com. It's covered. We covered it generically here today, but you need to find your specific pattern. Are you drifting potential? Are you inconsistent performer? Because that's a clue of where to start to build the counterpart to it. Number 5, next thing you need to do is seek the one thing.
Cowboy leads a different kind of life when they were cowboys. They're a dying breed. Still means something to me, though. A couple of days, they'll move this herd across the river, driving through the valley. Oh, there's nothing like bringing in a herd.
See, now that's great. Your life makes sense to you. What's so funny?
You city folk, you worry about a lot.
My wife basically told me she doesn't want me around.
She redhead.
I'm just saying.
How old are you? 38.
39.
Yeah. You all come up here about the same age, same problems. Spend about 50 weeks a year getting knots in your rope, and then you think 2 weeks up here'll untie 'em for you. None of you get it. Do you know what the secret of life is?
No, what?
This.
Your finger?
One thing. Just one thing. You stick to that and everything else don't mean.
That's great, but what's the one thing?
That's what you gotta figure out.
And see, this is what smart people don't do. They don't realize they've been conditioned and they're chasing material goals. Now, I want to say something about material things. There's nothing wrong with them, okay, as long as they're confirmation of your power. If you think they're going to give you power or fulfillment, you're either on drugs or you need to be. There's no other way to say it. They are confirmation of your power. They do not give you power. And more than that, they will give you zero fulfillment. Okay. So we've been taught to what? Chase the wrong things. A new BMW, a house in Mackinac Island, or Kauai or whatever. These are not things that are a purpose in life. You've got to find that one thing, and then you add goals to it. There's the biggest problem out there right now where people are buying, and they have for over 40 years, into this nonsense. Got to set a goal and take massive action. You're the same person. One, it's not going to happen. And if the 1 out of 1,000 that actually hit something like that, they're never going to feel fulfilled. It's going to let them down after that initial, yeah, boy, and all that stuff. There's nothing there. Now, all these things will be added unto you, according to Matthew, the book of Matthew. When you put your treasures in heaven, rather than things that thieves can break through, rust, or steal, okay? And the reality is you've got to find your purpose. And so we'll invite you, and again, there's nothing for sale. The Vision Workshop is free. That's at the end of August if you don't know what that one thing is. And that pretty much wraps us up. Most people don't need someone to hand them a purpose. They need to remove the patterns that are disconnecting from it. I'm telling you right now, that purpose is in you. It's in you. What do you want? You see, your purpose isn't what you get for doing something. It's what happens to other people when you're living inside your purpose. And this is so important, okay? You're not trying to do it so that it does something for them, but it gives them permission to return to that same person that we've been a champion of since we started the call. 1, there are no common people. That's number 1. Number 2, there's greatness in you. Number 3, you were born a creative genius. It's still in you. You've got to do the work. And Kim Jordan already knows this because she's now working with us. She's a guide in the Master Key Experience, which is our flagship product. And by the way, you can't buy that either, Debbie. That's all done. Everybody's tuition for the upcoming year has been paid for people that get into that course. Okay. They paid it forward for people that they didn't even know. So again, we're keeping our promise, nothing for sale, pay before, during, or after. What I am trying to sell you on is enrolling in your own life rather than the life that's been conditioned into you, if that makes sense. So let's open up for discussion, criticism, feedback, or whatever. Yes, John. John, you turned into a little chatty pants for a guy that was shy. That's pretty awesome.
Mark, it's always been inside of me. So I wanted to say to everybody the vast power that the subconscious has in us. I'm 75 years old, and I I can think back to when I was a little boy, 5 or 6, and my mom, in a very vulnerable moment, told told me, "Don't worry, John, I'll take care of you." And that has been in my subconscious for my gosh, almost 70 years. And but I'm grateful to my mom, but it's time to change that. It's time
Yeah.
to change that.
Yeah. Well, that's a great story. And I think a lot of us grew up that way. And I was actually watching an interview, which I didn't even know existed. One of my idols is not Billy Idol, although he wasn't bad either, but Billy Joel. And he was talking about the fact that when we die, um, our soul goes into other people's hearts. And so that's how I've been able to cope with, you know, that nobody's ever really left that had value in my life. And so your mom will take care of you. And what she did was she manufactured something pretty awesome, John. It's been great getting to know you.
Thank
And
you.
it's nice to see you chasing your dream and chasing your greatness. Anybody else have anything they want to share, ask? We're happy to work with you on any of those 6 steps, the promise step, the gratitude step. Don't
Actually, I
be shy.
just started today writing a Substack of my gratitude. Each day, I'm writing at least 5 things that happened in that day that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, that's fantastic. See, the thing with
Personal got me doing that.
yeah, the thing with a good friend of mine, Tom, the thing with a gratitude list is in some time, and for Debbie, it might be different than John, and different for Phyllis, and different for Michael, and that's great. But it stops being a list and you start to have a grateful heart. And once you have a grateful heart, you realize that gratitude is a cause, not an effect. And the more things you're grateful for, the more things to be grateful for start flowing into your life. And then you have more to give and more to give and more to give. And you need to know this. That which you share will multiply, that which you hold will diminish. Think of it as seeds. Currency, coming from the word carrier, means to flow. Okay. Currency has no value when it's held. So think of it as seeds. You can hold those seeds or you can let them go, and a forest of prosperity will grow around you. Yes, Debbie.
Well, you've called my name 100 times through this presentation, so I thought I'd say something. Hi, everybody. I want you to know I actually met Mark. I think it's got to be about 30 years ago. No, more than that. Mark, I was with Mark in America, and I think one of my very first trainings, and I don't even know if it was about that, you did it. And I remember thinking, he's one of the smartest guys I know. And I haven't seen or heard from you for all of these years. But whatever I saw about smart people getting stuck, I just wanted to share that for more than 40 years, my children are 40 and 37. I'm a grandmother. And for more than 40 years, I've been fascinated by this one question, which is why do intelligent women keep ending up in the same place despite desperately wanting something different?
Hmm.
And that question has guided almost everything I've ever studied over these past 4 decades. So people know me as the belief coach. And I'm not going to talk about what I do. It's not about doing that, but I want to share something because you brought scripture up a couple of times. And you made a comment, Mark, about certainty, how we need certainty. I call that self-efficacy. And what I mean by that is that in psychology, self-efficacy, like Kim, might be has great self-efficacy in accounting because she's an accountant, but she has no self-efficacy in cooking lasagna, let's say, right? Michael Jordan has great self-efficacy in basketball, but maybe none in fixing a car engine. And that kind of came, and I thought about, well, what are the self-efficacy of my whole my whole self, meaning knowing that no matter whenever I step into the unknown, I will never fall. I'll either be carried or I'll take flight.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to pause with this, which is I remember at the age of 12, I wanted to read the Bible all the way through. So I'm reading the Bible, Genesis, Matthew, get to Numbers. Oh my God, long and boring. But I remember when I got to Job, and Job, we all have heard about it, this long, long book. But here I am, 12 years old, Mark. And Job 3:25, he's already lost his wealth, he's lost his family, he's lost his livestock, he's got boils over his whole body. And Job 3:25, and theologians have asked, oh, why would the Lord let Satan do this to him? And the answer was Job 3:25 when he said, all that I have feared has happened to me, all that I've dreaded has come upon me.
There it is.
And Arlene, I remember being 12 and thinking, well, shoot, maybe we ought not do that, right?
Yeah.
And then later, and the last one is when Mary's pregnant with Jesus and she walks in and Elizabeth is pregnant with John the Baptist, about 6 months further along. And the scripture shows how John the Baptist, the baby leapt within Elizabeth's womb at the recognition of the Son of God. So I'm reading this, little girl. But it was what came next that framed everything, which was Elizabeth turns to Mary and she doesn't say, blessed Mary, you, for you're amazing, you're special, you're chosen. She said, blessed Mary, you, for you have chosen to believe the promise of God.
Yeah.
And so this journey of 40 years and belief is like I see what John said and so on and so forth, is that people don't see the beauty and the purity and the amazingness of who we are, who our soul is.
Yeah.
And the second we start understanding, and so, this whole, the pH and belief is for me, because Mark, I don't know, you remember writing books and things like that, but it's like, I help people understand how their physiology, their biology, certain chemical imbalances, certain things actually affect also your emotions, your manifestation, your belief. And what I see it does is it breeds this powerful compassion for self. That understanding breeds a compassion, which leads to this self-forgiveness, this pure and true self-forgiveness. It breeds a fierce mama bear love of self that then enables that person to trust, not just trusting themselves, but trusting that, again, whenever I step into the darkness, the unknown, no matter what, I will never fall. I'll either be carried or I'll take flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
In those moments, that is when you do what you do. You're not doing it avoiding, but you just take the step because God can't direct your steps if you're not stepping.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let me ask you a question. Um, where was the training? I'm always curious about the city. Was it in New England or?
Oh, it would have been in Seattle.
Oh, okay. All right.
It would have been in the Northwest,
Yeah.
and it would have been around about 1997. Yeah,
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
about there-ish.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you go to millions of trainings through your life.
Yeah.
And I distinctively remember, yeah, I mean, and there's just a thread of wisdom. There's truths, there's universal truths. They're true across so many different platforms. They're just stated in different kinds of ways.
Yeah. 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 Thank you so much. Thanks for your share. Peace be the journey. And for me, it's Philippians 4:13, right? I can do all things through him that strengtheneth me. But and then I step out, right? Because it says in Genesis, I was told all you have to understand scripture, the first four words, in the beginning, God. And everything that I started with respect to what I like to call the source of all good, to keep it generic and everybody's included. Everything that was a mess, I started on my own. Everything that I started together worked out pretty good. So, that's it. Peace be the journey. John.
Mark, howdy.
Howdy.
I just want to piggyback on the gratitudes because I've developed that habit. And one thing that I sort of had of a light bulb moment, I don't know, it was about a month or two ago that, I tended to just be grateful for what quote unquote good things. But then the light bulb hit me and it's like, well, yeah, I'm grateful for failure too. I'm grateful for depression too, because it becomes self-aware. So I really am grateful for everything. And it does flow a lot easier, instead of having boundaries for it. I'm just
Exactly.
grateful for it all.
Well, let me give you an additional spin on that, since Debbie just shared something with us. In Thessalonians, there's a little passage that says, give thanks in everything. And it's like, wait a minute, I find drugs in my son's drawer. I'm supposed to give thanks. Well, yeah, because if you don't, you get scared. And once you're scared, you're so far out of the light, you're out of creativity, you're out of solutions, you're out of benefit. But when you focus, when you bring that kingdom that's within all of us into play, it's different, and fear doesn't grab you. And so, because I did find drugs in my son's drawer, and it was like, and I had been in recovery at that point for a couple of years.
Oh boy.
It's almost 39 years now. And it was like, I wanted to freak out, but I remembered that, give thanks and everything. So I think that's a great thing. Thanks and everything, no rain, no flowers, right? No rain, no rainbows. So anyway, of course, I live on the wettest place on the planet, right? So that's another story. It's a greenhouse. Thank you so much, John. So nice to see you again. Anybody else have anything they want to share, confess, criticize, ask questions about? We're good. Tommy Strickland, what's up, dog? I met Tommy in Vegas with his beautiful bride. They came over and said hello, and that was really nice. Everybody's good. Carol, did you find the worksheet?
I have a question.
Okay.
I was here for like the first 3 minutes, and then I thought, oh crap, I have a meeting with, the JOB. So I disconnected and it went way over time, and I just reconnected for you to say, anybody have any questions? So my question, I guess, is going to be, is there going to be a replay for this?
Yeah, we're going to get all these
Oh, good.
workshops. We're going to
I'm
get
glad.
well, go ahead, honey.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did you have something to say, Dave? Was that you? No? Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll put a page up with the series on there so people can plug in. Because we usually about 30, 40 minutes, and we'd like to do 30, but I got a little rolling today on something. Because I just think people are just so amazing, and they don't know it. Just exactly what Debbie was saying. It's when you are in the moment, which is so important about that gratitude list, because I promise you, it will move from your head of a list into your heart. When you have a grateful heart and you're looking for things to be grateful for, and you're giving, and the way to give, here's an easy give: manners, open doors, let people go first. Just do it, What happens is you're there. And in those moments, I have these moments where I can see someone, and I'm there, and I'm there. I'm there. And I can see the whole universe in their eyes. I can see it. I can see it's stunning, and you don't want to miss it, because I want to tell you two lies. Okay. The first lie is you got to achieve the goal, the destination. And then you think you're maturing a little bit when you say, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I'm here to tell you that it's neither one of those things. It's the beautiful kindred spirits that you meet along the way when you're working a purpose that's in line with your understanding of the source of all good, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. We'll let them figure it out. But the reality is, this divinity is another word that religions have kind of commandeered. In ancient texts, the word divinity actually means the ability to transcend difficulties and limits. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful thing? And just being and seeing other people and knowing the word sonder has had a major effect on my life. Sonder means realizing that other people have a life going on too. It's not all about me. It's not all about me. They have challenges.
What? No way.
Anyway, we love you guys. Hope this was helpful. We put yep, there it is, the man with the sunshine in his eyes. Thank you, John. I took that out of a Van Morrison song, and it's out of the song It Stoned Me, and it's on my purpose statement as I want people to feel that I'm the man with the sunshine in his eyes, that there's this light coming out of me, that's inviting and safe, and that I see them and I hear them. So thanks for letting yourself be seen and heard today. Thank you, John. Thanks, everybody. Peace be the journey. Don't forget to take the quiz if you hadn't. Find your pattern. We're so grateful. Hey, Deanne, nice to see you. Peace.
Where do we